I went back to 2024 and I looked at a video of me doing this pose. I was doing a version where I was trying to spread my legs far as opposed to what I'm going to do here. So the frog pose can primarily target the groin and maybe into the hamstrings, or it can target the hip flexors. Now, why do you care about the hip flexors? Excuse me, Chesh. I'm going to move this. You're fine. Okay, good. So you sit all day. Here are my hip flexors. When you flex, so I'm now flexing my hip flexors, the muscle shortens. If you sit all day, the body's like, I don't need long hip flexors. They get shorter. Great. Now, over time, years, not days, over time, your hip flexors get tight. So you stand up. And as you stand up, you have to push really hard because your muscles are tight. Now, it's not hard, it's micro hard. But that ultimately, because of physics, pulls on your lower back. Tight hip flexors from sitting all day mess up your lower back. Also, when you sit, it's hard to extend your belly, which means you stay in sympathetic mode all day long. So you're actually like breathing into your chest and riled up all day long. Sitting is really bad for you. Genuinely, it's awful for you. I've got a whole series of poses on reversing the effects of sitting. This is one of them. And I suggest you do it this way. Don't emphasize the groin. Emphasize the hip flexors. And here's how you're going to do it. I'm going to show you it on the ground. I'm going to stand up and show you what it looks like for a different orientation, and then I'm going to do the pose. So the pose looks something like this, feet turned out, and I sit back into it. Something like this. So first of all, knees are so far apart, turn the feet out, and then sit back into it. That's the basic pose. Now, you can try to spread your knees wide, but if you do that, you take the risk of putting a weird side pressure on your knees. So don't do that. What I'm doing is I'm going to take and externally rotate my feet, lateral rotation. Think Charlie Chaplin if you're old enough to know that reference. And then I'm going to sit back into the pose. Now, before I started doing this pose, say 2 months ago, this is about where I was at. But it loosens the hip flexors. So the problem is that's hard to hold for very long. I want to hold this for 5 minutes. No way I could do that for 5 minutes. And that's one of the essences of this practice. We want to find a way to get ourselves into a pose so that we don't have to do hardly anything but balance and let time and passive tension do the work.